Hey YouTube, Kiratwick here, bringing you all my Dracotail Blue Eyes Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile. This is one of the combo decks where Dracotail, having such variety with their fusion plays, can be mixed into many different other decks, with Blue Eyes being one of them. The big thing with Dracotail is you just have to utilize monsters in your hands for their fusion summons, but running it with the Blue Eyes engine definitely does help for some consistency plays, just for some of the combos you can do with these decks. May look at Dracotail Dragon Maid for the next combo play that you can do with this fusion deck. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the main deck. For the Blue Eyes part of the engine, we're running 2 copies of the original Blue Eyes White Dragon. Just your go-to 3000 attack, 2500 defense monster, which can be summoned off of a good majority of the cards you run in the deck, including Maiden of White, the True Light setup that you do with this card. For the setup from Maiden of White, which you don't really go for the, summon a Blue Eyes, you just use her to set up the True Light, and then the True Light summons out the Blue Eyes. So 2 copies of this card, along with the 3 copies of Sage with Eyes of Blue. It can be one of your go-to starters for your Link 1 setup with the Spirit with Eyes of Blue, and it can also search out a level 1 Light Tuner, which can be your Maiden of White for you to add to your hand to then send off to then be able to set up the True Light on your field as just another 3 of using this card. And it's also a tuner just like Maiden of White, which we're running 3 copies of, so we can have it be used for the synchro plays that we also run in the deck alongside the Dracotail fusions and the Blue Eyes fusions. Maiden of White, just by sending this card from your hand or field of the graveyard, you can place 1 True Light from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up in your spell and trap card zone, so it sets up the trap that can then in turn set up some of your other Blue Eyes spells, and then also give you special summon power for your Blue Eyes, and then Maiden of White can just special summon herself back onto the field afterwards as well. And for the Dracotail engine, we're running 3 copies of Dracotail Femina. During the main phase quick effect, you can discard this card, fusion summon 1 dragon or spellcaster fusion monster from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand or field. If this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a fusion summon, you can set 1 Dracotail spell or trap from your deck. You can use this effect of your Dracotail Femina once per turn. So this just giving you fusion options. Once again, as mentioned, we have the different dragon and spellcaster fusion monsters for our extra deck to be able to go into. We have the dragon options for our Blue Eyes as well for summoning out. So having this monster as that added resource to get these fusion plays out makes it a definite 3 of, just for one of the better discard options. 2 copies of Dracotail Lucius. If it's normal or special summon, you can add a Dracotail monster from your deck to your hand, except for Lucius. If this card is sent to the graveyard as fusion material for a fusion summon, you can set 1 Dracotail Spell Trap from your deck. So send power in the form of Femina, and then the normal summon power for Lucius if we want to go for that added summon. And what's also cool is that we can use Lucius for the link summon play of cards like Spirit with Eyes of Blue, since you just need a level 4 lower dragon or spellcaster monster, which your Lucius fits the mold perfectly, and so does Dracotail Mululu, which we're only running 1 copy of, along with 1 Dracotail Pan and the 1 Dracotail Urgula for the added 1 of text to run, just for added fusion material for setup, and then the added play for destruction power with Pan, and Mululu during the main phase being able to fusion summon a Dracotail fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field, and you got special one from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except for fusion monsters. But still, it's just a 1 of, that's why, because it has that kind of restriction that takes away from our other Blue Eyes cards in the deck, with the rest of the main deck monsters being 2 copies of King of the Swamp, just to grab another fusion card in the form of polymerization, and also have King of the Swamp fill in one of the substitutes for any of the fusion material monsters, which you could legitimately get out Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, needing the 3 Blue Eyes White Dragon to do so, with King of the Swamp acting as one of the placeholders, and 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring to finish off the main deck monsters for the lineup as well. That's just part of the hand trap engine, along with the infinite impermanence in the trap spot. For the spells, 3 copies of Wishes of for Eyes of Blue. For the spell lineup for the Blue Eyes White Dragon cards, you discard 1 card to add 1 level 1 Light Tuner and 1 spell or trap. That mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand, except for Wishes for Eyes of Blue, and being able to banish this card from your graveyard, target a Blue Eyes White Dragon you control, equip one Blue Eyes monster from your deck to it as material, and then give that monster for an attack. You're going to use this effect of Wishes for Eyes of Blue once per turn, but it's set up being able to grab those additional spells and resources from your deck to your hand, with some of those cards being Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragoons for this, or Dragons, with this card being another special summon resource for Blue Eyes. With the plays in this deck, Blue Eyes would be one of your majority monsters that would be on the field for your fusion plays, while then you'll have the Dracotail monsters be the ones in the hand to summon out cards like our Dracotail Arthalion, and the one Mausoleum of White, which can be searched and set up for with our Spirit with Eyes of Blue. For the Dracotail spells, we are running the 3 copies of our Key 2 Dracotail. With this card, add 1 of your additional Dracotail monsters from your deck to your hand. Then, if your opponent controls a monster, you can fusion summon 1 dragon or spellcaster monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field. You can activate 1 Key 2 Dracotail per turn, but its search power for the Dracotail monsters, just being able to search out some of our fusion starters like Femina, comes in handy, especially with this deck. So, a 3 of for sure, with us also running 2 copies of Rahu Dracotail, being able to fusion summon 1 Dracotail monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field for the rest of this turn. After this resolves, you can special summon from the extra deck, except for fusion monsters. You're going in this effect once per turn. And then the final spells being 2 copies of Polymerization. They are searchable off of, King of the Swamps. If you wanted to run the Blue Eyes Quick Play Fusion spell, you can replace them for this spot. Also, it's just a little more specific for what you can use for those fusion plays. Polymerization at least adds for more of a generic lineup to run in tandem with the Blue Eyes and the Dracotail monsters. For the traps, we're running 1 of copy counts for 1 Dracotail Horn, 1 Dracotail Flame, 1 Majesty of White Dragons, and 1 True Light. All of these just 1 of text for the different searches we can get for the Dracotail cards to search out the Dracotail traps, and then the Blue Eyes cards to set up the True Light and Majesty of White Dragons, depending on what you may need for that specific destruction play for either one, and then also the added bounce power and setup that True Light does to begin with the other hand trap spot being the Infinite Impermanence that we run alongside Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring to complete the 40 card lineup for the main deck. For the extra deck, we're running 2 copies of Dracotail Arthalion, the 1 Dracotail monster and 1 monster in the hand. If this card's fusion summon, you can target monsters on the field or in the graveyards up to the number of monsters using material from the hand. Return them to the hand, and up to the number of monsters using material for this card. If 2 or more were sent to the graveyard at the same time while this card's in the graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. And then, if this card leaves the field with this play, you banish it. You go and use this effect of Arthalion once per turn, but it gives you more of a setup, being able to have the add back power as well, being able to target monsters on the field, get rid of them if they're pesky ones that your opponent's using, and then have this card added as that resource. Also, the 1 copy of Dracotail Gulamel for the last of the Dracotail fusions, being able to target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it if you have activated a Dracotail card or effect, and the 1 Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon for the added summon while equipped to a Blue Eyes card like our Neo's Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, and then the 1 Guardian Chimera to finish off the fusion monsters. Just another polymerization target, just needing monsters with 3 different names, and then having the added benefit of the polymerization fusion with this card as well. For the links, 2 copies of Spirit with Eyes of Blue. It's the field spell search, and then just an easy link 1 to go into. The 2 Heretic Spheres of Heavenly Sphere. I was messing up that name badly. Heretic Seal of Heavenly Spheres, just for the bounce back power, needing 2 dragon monsters to do so, which we also have in the form of our Dracotail monsters as well. And then the 1 IP Masquerena and the 1 SP Low Knight, which if you didn't want to run these, you could always go for more of a fusion lineup for more extra deck space to use for those monsters as well. And then the Synchro lineup just being the 1 Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, the 1 Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon, and then the 1 Lightstorm Dragon, because we do still have the tuner monsters that we can make use of in the deck also. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, with the added setup, you can go for the Dracotail Lucius play as your normal summon setup. Let's say you have the search for this card off of Key 2 Dracotail. Then summoning out this card, you can add a Dracotail monster from your deck to your hand. So you can add Femina off of this card as well. And then being able to use the effect For which one thing you'll get around is you won't be able to use the setup for the fusion summon. You'll have the Femina, but then you can go for the Link summon with Lucius into your Link 1 Spirit with Eyes of Blue, and then being able to use the setup with this card is that you can only special summon except for dragon monsters, so remember that with this card. But then you can use this play to grab your Mausoleum, and then being able to have the additional normal summoner set with this card, but being able to send a monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, have that monster gain the attack. So with it, you can send your Blue Eyes to the graveyard off of your Spirit with Eyes of Blue, and then with this card being able to tribute it to special summon that Blue Eyes back onto the field as well, giving you one of the needed resources for your fusion play on the field as well. With this card, you have to fusion summon a dragon or spellcaster fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field. So with the Femina play, you just have to remember that the Dracotail monster has to be the, monster for the monster in the hand, and then the additional one there for that fusion play. So depending on what you want to fusion summon out with your Blue Eyes monsters, you have those added resources available to you, along with the 3 differently named monsters for your Dracotail monsters to be able to summon out thanks to the card also. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Like I said, there are different combinations that you can definitely make with the Dracotail and the different dragon and fusion supports that you can do with them. Blue Eyes was just one that I was giving a test try. There are many others to try as well. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Twig out.